show you in the bottom left-hand side, it says good habitat, and we're talking good habitat for salmon, not necessarily that it's a good habitat for every creature. And then same thing goes with bad habitat. It's a bad habitat for our growing salmon. It's not necessarily bad for every situation. So I am going to go ahead and talk about each of these things, and I might just sort it with you. It's up to you. If you feel like doing it on your own, I would end this video now. Or actually, here, let me tell you. So this is silt, so S-I-L-T, like dirt and rocks over here. We have invertebrates. We have pollution. Right here we have fallen logs. Here we have cool temperature, so it's a little colder. This one is a higher temperature, so they're a little bit warmer. Think about the waterways being that temperature. And then here we have invasive plants, so plants that weren't naturally occurring in the area. And then we have native plants, so plants that did grow here naturally. They were not brought in by accident or on purpose by people or animals. And then we have invasive fish, so fish that weren't necessarily, they didn't start there, but they are there now. And then we have just rocks for rocks as part of their habitat. So I am, oh man, I cannot find it. Good habitat. Haha. Okay. So I have these little information cards. If you feel like pausing the video and just doing it on your own right now, you are 100% welcome to. If you want to kind of go along with me and we can do it together, you're welcome to do that. So invertebrates, I'm going to start here. They may be mayflies, stoneflies, snails, clams, and other invertebrates that live in streams and rivers are indicators of a watershed's health. So these, having lots of variety of bugs, is proof that the waterway is healthy. Healthy streams have an enormous diversity of aquatic species, so a good variety. Young salmon and steelhead eat larval and adult invertebrates, so think about baby insects or adult insects. So if it's key to their health, would that be a good habitat or bad habitat? Hopefully from that you can realize, it is important for them. I'm going to just scooch it on over here. I don't need you guys to pile it on top of here because, you know, it'll start blocking out the picture of our habitat. So if you want to put it above, I'm good with that. And we know we still have these guys to sort. All right, so gravel. Right here, gravel. It says gravel beds provide important spawning areas for aquatic species, including salmon and steelhead. Gravel also supports many different types of invertebrates that young fish eat. So if it's important to the salmon for creating their redds and for other types of invertebrates that young fish eat, I'm going to say, was that good or bad? I'm going to say that one was a good part of salmon habitat. If you see lots of gravel, I think we're in the clear. I'm going to scooch it all over so you can kind of see. I know it says click to add. Don't worry about that. PowerPoint just does that. Let's see. Contaminants. So that's this pollution, contaminants. From industrial, domestic, and highway runoff can make their way into waterways. Some contaminants can kill salmon, stunt their growth, and impair their reproduction. And from what we read the other day, it can actually affect their ability to smell, so they can't smell their way home. So contaminants are things that don't belong in the water. Good habitat or bad habitat? I'm hoping you guys got that right off the bat, like, yeah, we don't want that for our salmon. All right, so good and bad. Invasive plants, so right here. Invasive plants can outcompete native plants and destabilize the soil. So they can kill plants that are naturally occurring and make the soil fall from the embankment so that the water's dirty again. Some invasive plants like water hyacinth blocks light and greatly reduces oxygen levels in the water. Other invasive species like Japanese knotweed can quickly invade restored salmon habitats. So they grow quickly, they can block out light for our naturally occurring plants. I'm going to say bad habitat for invasive plants. All right, Let's see. Ooh, how about invasive fish, since we're on the invasive thing? Invasive fish can spread diseases, prey on native species, and outcompete native fish for food. Some invasive species can even decrease the water quality. For example, common carp like to uproot plants, and that muddies the water. This makes it harder for other fish to see, and they can destroy food sources and shelter for other fish. So they're stealing the food of the natural fish, and they're muddying up the water, which we know our fish need clean water. I'm putting this guy over here, bad habitat. Oops, did I cover up the word bad habitat? There we go. All right, how about next we're gonna go, how about fallen trees? That's one that's kind of in the middle, I would say. Fallen trees create pools that protect young fish from predators. They also direct the stream flow and create places for fish to rest among strong currents. Fallen trees also trap organic matter that provides food and shelter for aquatic insects. So it's providing a shelter, it slows down the stream in some places for salmon to catch a break, and helps collect that fallen tree matter, so the leaves and pine needles, that attracts the bugs to bring food. I'm putting this good habitat for our salmon. They need those fallen trees. Alrighty, here we go. These are what we have left. Let's go ahead and talk about native plants. So we know these plants aren't so good because of the reasons we talked about. Let's see native plants. Native plants help maintain cool water temperatures. They can also act as filters by preventing pollutants from entering streams and rivers. Their roots stabilize the soil, so prevent it from falling in, prevent sediment or mud, dirt from entering the water. Plants can also shield young salmon from predators, so could also provide shelter. I'm putting it here. Native plants are good for our salmon. How about, sediment? I think you guys should already know the answer to that. Construction, timber harvesting, mining, and farming can destabilize the soil and move sediment into the water, so putting dirt in the water. Sediment can smother fish, eggs, aquatic insects, and plants, increase our water temperature, reduce the light penetration and plant growth, prevent fish from being able to locate their homes, and capturing prey, and clog fish gills. So they won't be able to breathe, they won't be able to see. The things that they eat and survive off of can't grow and survive. So yeah, I'm going to say sediment is probably part of a bad habitat. So now we're down to the two thermometers. Let's go warm water. Warm water is always nice to swim in. So let's see, the one that's higher up, it's close to 80. I'm going to say that's warm water. Sustained water temperatures above 68 degrees can stress young salmon out, increase the risk of disease, and keep adult salmon from reaching their spawning grounds. Water temperatures above 73 degrees can be deadly for our salmon. So, sounds like it causes diseases, prevents them from reaching their home, and is deadly. I'm going to say bad habitat. So just knowing how things work, we could probably assume the cool water is part of a good habitat. I'm going to stick it here and just make sure I don't forget so I can read and then double check that my answer is correct. Cold water. Salmon eggs may not hatch if the water temperatures rise above 54 degrees. So if it gets too warm, the eggs just won't hatch. When water temperatures are greater than 61 degrees, juveniles grow more slowly, making them more susceptible to predators. In our tank, it would be fine, you guys, if they hatch a little slower so we can observe them better. But out in the wild, that makes it easier for a predator to eat them. So they want the really cold water. Cold water also contains more dissolved oxygen, so they can breathe a little easier and reduce the spread of diseases. So I would say definitely good habitat belongs over here. That includes fallen logs, native plants, cold water, invertebrates or brats, however you pronounce it, and then gravel. In our bad habitat over here, we have warm water temperature. We have sediment like dirt, invasive fish, so fish that weren't naturally there, invasive plants, plants that got brought in somehow, and contaminants like pollution, things that don't belong in the water. So if you are following along, these are the correct answers, but I'm hoping that you guys are able to understand now and explain why they are the way they are. All right. Any questions, send me a message. Otherwise, I'll see you soon.